Hello everyone, this is Aegon of Astora and welcome back to Dark Souls 2 Let's Talk Lore. This is, I believe, episode 15, and we are nicely hollowed, so we're gonna open up this door that was previously inaccessible to us, and yeah, that took me off guard. I haven't been here in a very long time. I remember this being a friendly place. Presumably these poor souls are... yeah, they are not in good shape. And I killed them in a very unflattering way. Or in such a manner that left them in an unflattering position. I apologize for that, Hollows. Wow, yeah, it has been a really long time. I don't remember any of this at all. This person looks very similar to Merciless Rowena. I wonder, possibly wearing the same gear? We hear once again the singing of the Milfinitos.
Who are you? And what do you want from us? Milfinito, that is what we are called. My name? Do you mean our name? We know nothing of the outside world. We sing eternally for those who bear death and dark within themselves. We have been here forever. We know nothing of the outside world, and we do not need to.
It's very interesting that she mentioned, do you mean our name? Implying that they don't have any sense of self, no individuality, but also potentially that, the Milfinitos share a consciousness of sorts.
The little ones were born from the great dead one, and the great dead one taught us song. We have sung ever since, to comfort those bound by death and dark. This is what we were taught.
The Great Dead One, presumably referring to Gravelord Nito from Dark Souls 1, which would also explain the last four letters of their name. I'm accidentally stabbing her. They are referred to as Milfinitos.
You silenced that cursed singing. Please accept these as a thank you. Do you seek comfort too? You poor thing. Take this at the very least. This is all that we can do. The little ones were born from the great, and
The little ones were born from the Great Dead One. That is to say, the Bright Bugs. Which is a connection I haven't really thought about, because I'm assuming because it's been so long since I've been here. Thank you, helpful message. Fire seed, although it's not an item I particularly need. Try below and then left. I have a feeling I'm going to walk off an edge here. Ah. Ah, the Manslayer Katana. A katana with a terribly worn blade appears useless, but is in fact coated with deadly poison. This sword has calmed countless victims, or claimed countless victims, and the blood stains upon its blade have turned to poison. I replaced claimed with calmed there, I assume because of the music that I'm hearing. And yes, I am actually hearing sound. It turns out that the setup I've come up with is actually not bad at allowing me to have a little bit of volume. And still being able to edit it out in post-production. So, that's rather nice. This thing, I believe if you don't have any human effigies in your inventory, will unhollow you. Yeah. So if you have human effigies, it will not work. But if you're ever in a spot where you're hollow, you need to summon someone or something like that. I'm not sure who would be in that spot at this stage of the game. Or at this stage in the game's life cycle. But yeah, you could always reverse your hollowing there. Sorry again, fellas. I wasn't expecting you to attack me like that. There's the bloodstain from my hopping off the edge in order to achieve a hollow state. Without further ado, one of my favorite areas in the game. Mostly for its atmosphere and lore, not so much for the gameplay, although it's certainly a step up from the Shrine of Mana. You can notice a certain mist. It's very foggy as you descend. Oh, and now it's gone. Not sure if that was intentional or not. It's a very long ride down, and we took an equally long ride down from Drangley Castle to the Shrine of Mana, so we're really far underground right now. Hello, Aldia.
Oh, yes. I believe we've been acquainted. Young Hollow, conqueror of fear. What drives you so to overcome this supposed curse? Life is brilliant. Beautiful. It enchants us. To the point of obsession. Some are true to their purpose, the others shadows, flesh and mind. One man lost his own body, but lingered on as a head. Others chase the charms of love, however elusive. What is it that drives you? Once, the Lord of Life banished dark and all that stemmed from humanity. And then assumed a fleeting form. These are the roots of our world. Men are props in stage of life, and no matter how tender, how exquisite, a lie will remain a lie. However, knowing this, do you still desire peace? Vendrick, the The near true monarch is here, and not far off. But what is a king? You, neither born with greatness nor granted it by the fates. What is it you seek? You cannot even say yourself. We shall meet again, young Hollow.
Lots of very interesting stuff to talk about there. First and foremost, returning to AJ Sin's comment from episode 7 on in which he was questioning or musing about the cycle and about the Emerald Herald's dialogue during the Link the Fire ending, mentioning that souls will flourish anew and all of this will begin again once the fire is linked. And I mentioned in a previous episode, I believe the last episode, could have been the one before it though, that we can't really trust the Emerald Herald as a view from nowhere type narrator. So that is to say,
do not produce light. Light and all those who bear it are unwelcome in this place.
Aldea describes all men as props on the stage of life. And who throughout the game in a more significant and substantial way, other than Shanalot, the Emerald Herald, uses you seemingly as a prop? Who guides you and tells you where to go, what to do, and all those things? It seems very much like the Emerald Herald is using the Chosen Undead. To what end? I'm not sure. But something very interesting that comes out of Aldea's dialogue. Speaking of interesting dialogue.
I am Ugdane, guardian of the Crypt. Countless dead rest here in peace, cradled by the comfort of dark. Light only agitates. We have no need for it here. I am a finito. We weave death and watch over the dead. This task was granted to me by the one who gave us the first death. Countless souls rest here, some of them from ages long ago. Some were rich, others poor, some wise, some dull, but now they're all just dead.
So Agdine describes himself as a finito. And mentions that, mentions the one who gave us the first death. So again, Gravelord Nito from Dark Souls 1. But in contrast to the male finitos, the female finitos, as it were, Agdine has a name and refers to himself by said name. So I'm not sure what to think about that. But certainly it seems as though Nito, in some way, shape, or form, created sort of a structure that would persist, through his, I don't know. I'm really still trying to figure all that out myself. But yeah, very, very interesting connection to Dark Souls 1. And the whole idea of death, as we'll hear Agdane mention, being a peaceful thing that isn't necessarily to be feared, as humans fear it.
Did you come for him? The one called Vendrick. You will find him deeper inside. Many castle servants and the like have come to fetch their lord. But they rest here now, put to death by the king's own guards. Perhaps he's not in the mood for company. In the past, humans were one with the dark. The former king of light, he feared humans. Feared that they would usher in an age of dark. How queer you humans. How you go on, never separating truth from fiction. This place is welcome to all, provided due reverence is shown. Death is equitable, accepting. We will all one day be welcomed by her embrace. Tell me what you desire. Show me reverence, and I will lend you my hand.
So, a lot to talk about there, but let's see. I believe he might have one or two other things to say.
I am a finito. We
No, that's it.
somewhere rich.
I want to purchase... I'm not sure if any of you out there do this. I feel bad leaving a Dark Souls 2 merchant without having purchased something. Even if it's something as small as an arrow. Because otherwise, if you back out without having purchased something, they'll have a snippy farewell remark for you. And I like to... I want to be nice to all the NPCs in the game. So, I bought a single arrow for that reason. For which he'll say, farewell, human.
Farewell, human.
Otherwise, he'll say, crude human, do as you please. And I don't like hearing that. So we are going to pop a soul. But before we do that, let's read the description. When the soul of the demon of song at the shrine of Amana. When this demon developed a taste for human flesh, it was contained within the shrine of Amana. But the line of priestesses who looked after the shrine and appeased the creature have died off. So, very much corroborating what I said about the Milfinita we find outside the boss room, who's in very rough shape. Perhaps the other way around than how I explained it, though, is I explained it as perhaps the Milfinito getting tired of the demon of song. It seems it might have been the other way around, but I digress. We also have the key to the embedded. Sword that opens the embedded's door, shaped like a weapon but is in fact a key. Plunge the key into the embedded to bring a rhapsodic end to his fate. The once human embedded, realizing that he can never resist the temptations of the flesh, bound himself eternally with chains. Since then, he has awaited the day that someone will find this key and bury it within his bosom. So yeah, the whole embedded thing is very strange, but...
What do you...
We are going to purchase Warmth. So another spell created by Master Logan, whose name, by the time Dark Souls 2 comes around, is long forgotten.
Farewell, human.
Farewell to you as well. As I mentioned when we were in Earthen Peak, these are Grave Wardens. So, their presence makes perfect sense here. Not so much in Earthen Peak. Friend. And I'm assuming some of these messages say try light, merchant ahead, misfortune, shortcut ahead, but light required ahead. Very nice. Okay. Let's move on. Ouch. Oh, that did not work out nearly as well as I'd planned it. Oh! I was gonna push him off, but I probably shouldn't do that just in case we get a drop with some lore, but no drops. But we are gonna drop down here. Yep, Simpleton Spice and Soul of a Great Hero. And we're gonna climb up this ladder. And we're going to pick up a very interesting item from this chest. That is the Crushed Eye Orb. Which is here. Crushed Eye Orb with an unfocused gaze. The crushed eye writhes unsteadily, in search of dishonorable miscreants. Where are the friends? Or where are the fiends? Where are they? So that fiend, of course, being Lycia of Lindelt, aka the Nameless Usurper, who is about to invade us for a second time. Despite her friendly demeanor when souls are on the line. And she's trying to sell us something. This is one of my favorite parts of the Undead Crypt, lighting that up. I can't help but wonder how amazing this would have looked with the original lighting engine. Very cool. And you get a better idea of the full scale of the Undead Crypt when lighting up these torches, I guess? These giant bonfires. Because clearly there's much more to the crypt than we get to explore. You can see there's a staircase over there. And so various levels that we never actually get to touch. So we got a soul vessel. It's the Soul of a Great Hero, I think. Soul of a Hero. So I'm just over 20 minutes, but I'm gonna try and take out Velstock. Not one of my better bosses. I'm decent at parrying him, but I know that now that I've said that, I'm likely to screw it up. But let's see how it goes. Dried fingers. Mindful of this guy behind me. Yeah. Nothing really interesting lore related there. We're about to get invaded by Lycia of Lindelt. I'm not going to bother with the Avalon that's through that illusory wall there. I want to try and parry her, but with that dagger... And I suppose it's possible that she doesn't use miracles so as to ensure that she can continue to sell miracles to the player. Whereas if she invaded and, wog spammed you to death in the same way that she does when you invade her, then in her mind she might be thinking, well, I wouldn't want the player to get a bad, to have a poor impression of miracles and their use. So in a way to ensure the survival of her own business, I always get turned around when falling into that hole. So in a way to ensure the survival of her business, she doesn't use any of her miracles while invading. But then why invade at all with a dagger, I guess, is what I have trouble understanding. Is she really expecting to be able to take anyone out with that? That was bad. Alright. We are still going to parry the Cyanites, though, because if you're going to parry anyone, you should be parrying these guys. Thought I'd be able to aggro just one there, but... Ooh. Very nice riposte damage there. This guy can be aggroed on his own. There we go. Where are you going? Come on. Over here. So these knights presumably followed Vendrick to the Undead Crypt and are now, together with Velstadt, the royal Aegis, standing guard for eternity. And finally, we get a piece of their equipment. Replica of the leggings of the loyal knight Cyan. This solidly crafted gear offers high defense. Sir Cyan was widely known as the kingdom's most leal knight, and when the giants invaded, he volunteered to lead the advance party, but was slaughtered most dishonorably. The king commissioned replicas of Cyan's accoutrements and bestowed them to his two promising knights. But not long after they donned the armor did they go thoroughly mad. These guys don't seem mad to me. They seem certainly to not be too concerned about guarding Vendrick in the Undead Crypt for all of eternity. They don't necessarily seem mad. But that aside, that description really, for me, is almost enough on its own. Together with the fact that the Looking Glass Knight is wearing a crown of thorns, to indicate that, and that, of course, isn't the only evidence. Whoa, that was a really fast animation. That, of course, isn't the only evidence to support the theory that Ninth Belief had. But the being slaughtered dishonorably part, together with the crown of thorns, also with the blue lightning that the Cyan Knights use, which... trying to get one of these guys to fall off. There we go. Cyan Knights use the blue lightning. The same blue lightning that the Aegon Knights use. But the lightning that is very distinct from the yellow goldish lightning that we're used to. And the same type of lightning that, of course, the Looking Glass Knight uses. The Looking Glass Knight also summons... I can't parry the attack when they're holding their shield like that. The Looking Glass Knight, of course, also summons Mirror Squires. The same Mirror Squires who you find in Aldea's Keep. So there are too many connections, too many lines of evidence supporting this theory for it to be, you know, even for it to even have a shadow or to cast any sort of significant doubt on it. It seems pretty solid to me that Ninth Police theory that the Looking Glass Knight is Sir Sion himself. It seems to be a home run for me. But without further ado, we are going to say hello to the Royal Aegis. Do note that the one spot he's sitting in the boss room is the spot that has light leaking in from somewhere. He's sitting right in the center of a spotlight of sorts. Whoa, okay, not gonna try and parry him. Ran out of stamina, almost paid for it there. It's gonna buff now. Rolled way too early there. Underestimated the range on that attack. Good thing I got that second chug out there. Got greedy. Whew, right in the butt to finish him off. So yeah, so as I mentioned during the intro to this boss fight, this is the spot where he's sitting. And it's terribly difficult to tell where is that light coming through? I don't understand. Huh. Let's see what his soul says. His soul is, of course, dark. Well, I'll let the item description speak for itself. Soul of the Velstadt, defender of the king inside the undead crypt. Velstadt was always at the king's side, as if he were his lord's own shadow. After the king retired to the undead crypt, Velstadt followed, never to return. Okay, well, it's not in the item description itself. I believe it's with his weapon that mentions that his soul becomes dark from spending so much time down here in the crypt. And so, I don't know what it is about this circle of light, but perhaps he uses it to keep some measure of his sanity? To keep his goal in mind that he's protecting the king? I don't know. But as I've been mentioning over and over again in the last few episodes, we've been told over and over again to seek Vendrick, that he will solve our problems, that he will guide us, that if we want to beat the curse, he's the man we need to talk to. And then we find this. A hollowed shell of a king. Stripped naked. Having left his shield and his armor and his ring just lying on the ground. Just walking in circles. Have what appear to be all the wise men of some sort, an audience of them, just kind of watching. Really poor texture quality here, but it appears as though light is seeping in from somewhere. I'm not sure how it got into the boss room, Velstad's boss room, but it's certainly how it appears. On top of these pillars here, we have they look to be similar to the figures holding the torches that we lit earlier on in the level. So I don't know. Lots and lots of stuff here that, with a proper understanding of the cultural influence and, perhaps spotting some real-world analogs that we might be able to better understand. See, those look like Ladia pyromancers. The ones with the ghosts who are summoned when the bells are rung. So we've acquired the King's Ring. A soul is much like a curse, and those with a strong soul must bear within themselves an even stronger curse. Vendrick, King of Dranglake, used a powerful soul to keep the curse at bay. In the end, he sought the flame that began it all. So, yeah. And if ever there was a piece of dialogue that demonstrated Aldia's point about humans being used as props, and in particular about the Emerald Herald possibly using you as a prop, it's this one.
This ring is the symbol of the king. Use it to gain passage through the king's gate and venture to the far east. Bearer of the curse, if you are to be the next monarch, then one day you will walk those grounds without really knowing why.
So, yeah, one day we will walk these grounds without really knowing why. And in the background, there's this guy, the previous monarch, walking these grounds without really knowing why. So she's hinting almost that everything that's happening around us is bigger than us. That we are but mere cogs in a cyclical machine. And yeah, I guess that's as good a point to end the episode as any other. So, I hope you enjoyed this really lore-heavy episode. I apologize if the dialogue was too much or too heavy or anything like that, but this has been a lot of fun so far, and I look forward to continuing on with the King's Ring onto the next area. So until then, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.